and switching it around, we don't know what we're going to find. They're going to start out in Link's house like usual, but that first chest could be anything. It could be the bow, it could be some rupees. We don't know. And
no.
We are off.
Yeah, of course, on the other hand, we have recently made it so that Uncle, as our second item, will not necessarily have the sword, and this seed looks like he indeed will not have the sword. He will have one of another 6 items that are randomly assigned.
And we got a quick map check. All 3 are crystals. I think it was 7 and 2, and I did not see the other one.
It's largely irrelevant. They were all boring. No, neither of them were 5 or 6. 4.
All right. Dropping down.
I like to see here. I like to see some Samaria in here. Samaria is one of the items I think has sort of the large curve to it.
I would say Cane of Samaria and bombs are probably the biggest learning curve. However, finding the fire rod, that being a very important item later in the game, probably my personal favorite is finding the bow and the second chest of the game having a piece of heart for them.
Yeah. Of course, the reason why jmeasher they're having no qualms about just burning the guards with those 2 little magic pots underneath the pots at the end there, he's able to just refill his magic immediately. You do only have 8 shots with the fire rod, but each one will immediately kill whatever you hit with it.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that can increase that, of course, is the half magic upgrade, which I have seen as part of Escape combined with the fire rod. So I remember in that race, those players were just going absolutely crazy with that fire rod.
jmeasher almost went for those arrows, then it's like, no, I really don't need those arrows, most likely. He'll regret it when he picks up the bow in one of these next 2 chests, or he won't because he picked up arrows in the chest itself.
Yeah, so other than the fire rod, no real progression yet, but both players in very good position weapon-wise, and of course very good financial position, finding that first 300 rupees in Uncle's chest.
jmeasher taking a little bit more time to try to kill some guards. Looking for a bomb drop is the big thing we're looking for here. Of course, the little bomb wall at the end of Escape can be opened also with the boots, but boots are a little bit hard to find in the early game, these first couple chests. So typically we rely on bombs for opening that wall.
Yeah, absolutely, because the last thing you want to do is have to come back there, because that's 3 chests that are available at the beginning of the game and could easily hold practically any item.
Yeah. Yeah, they are effectively locked by nothing in this version, as bombs are considered to be an item you can always have, because of course you can always have bombs. Interesting that we're seeing pot strats here instead of just, of course, jmeasher taking actually a little bit of a lead there by just shooting the guard with the fire rod. Then goes back and picks up a magic pot, and we're basically just sync instead.
Yeah, players completely synced up. Zelda's chest having a small key. So I believe, and we found the map earlier, so I believe everything from here on out is going to be something potentially of value.
Yeah, we have 5 locations to go. All of them are going to be an item of our randomized pool, not of a dungeon variety, so we'll see what we get.
So both of these players shooting for a time somewhere between 6 and 7 seconds during the escape sequence, and that gives them a pretty good benchmark of how quickly they're moving. And
of course, 6 or 7 minutes, not seconds.
Did I say seconds? I'm sorry about that. Hey, this is speed running, right?
This is speed running. We're not that fast. There's a bomb drop. Janeway, through enough guards, find a bomb.
So this could be the first divergence if Flip isn't able to find a bomb. Fortunately, there's a lot of opportunities coming up to be able to do that. There's the rooms with the rats and the rooms with the snakes as well. Although he does have to be a little careful because he does have no offensive weapon that doesn't require magic.
It's not a huge deal with how many magic pots there are here. Now, with that being said, the fire rod's a little bit RNG in how many enemies you can kill with one shot, as there is an AoE that lasts a little bit after it hits. So you can kill a number of enemies with one shot of the fire rod if you get lucky, but sometimes you're not lucky and you just end up killing the one thing that you shot in the first place.
And a nice place for a fairy in a bottle, so now when they get to Kakariko Village, they can check out the sick kid and not have to wonder about coming back there later.
Yeah. Sometimes at this point in the game, you almost don't want to see a fairy in a bottle, because now you're going to go to Death Warp at some point, you're going to die and be revived by a fairy instead of, you know, warping out of the dungeon you were trying to warp out of. Both players getting their key very effectively there. That's not a bomb, jmeasher. There we go.
Yeah, I was almost wondering if he was going to release that fairy to potentially...
And, well, Flip found a rat. That's not a bomb, however, so...
And Flip is not missing anything. Just a couple pieces of heart and a green rupee in the secret hidden room. So he's not directly hurt, but he probably will end up coming back there at some point.
Yeah, and if he has to do it, and if he decides to do it before he finds gloves, it will be a significant time loss.
And, well, there's the gloves right there.
So that's not going to be a problem. I don't know where... Are we doing, why can't I think of the name? Houlihan Room?
Yeah, it looks like it. I guess he wants to be completely set up for being able to do Zora no matter what.
Yeah, you don't see this a lot in standard mode. It's a very open mode play, but it may very well pay off. It may also backfire if we just find a couple more 300 rupees and we're set for money even without the Houlihan Room. But it's definitely an interesting play. We might be seeing a very, very divergent play here.
Yeah, jmeasher getting an 8-bomb drop from that enemy, so he's now set up for quite a while. And yeah, it looks like Flip is going to head into Kakariko from the south route.
Yeah, so no major divergence in this case then, just a difference in clearing Uncle Bombs on the Graveyard Ledge.
Yep, so far nothing to indicate that Agnem is required, although he certainly could still be. We've only got one of the 3 items necessary for Dark World access at this point.
And one of those items, and one of those 3 items that you're referring to is equally required for Aghanim Dark World access anyways, so... That item being the Moon Pearl. But that being said, that puts us either a hammer or another glove upgrade off of most likely not needing Aghanim. That being said, Moon Pearl can still be locked past Aghanim for other reasons.
Absolutely. Now, the library and the race game not having anything of importance. And Flip doing the more traditional route, not finding anything big in the Lost Woods, so he's also going to be checking out Kakariko Village, and we're going to be having some high fives here, probably.
Yeah. Not a lot of interest in the season so far. We've already had 2 arrow chests.
And I think that was, with the sick kid giving out $20, I think that was our 3rd or 4th red rupee already.
Yeah, the seed's been not giving us a lot of things that we really want so far. It could be very interesting if Zora is what's on the table at this point. This may actually be why Flip did pick up that. Because Gloves does put Zora into logic, this may be Flip basically saying, I'm gonna do Fake Flipper after Kakariko, assuming that he has the rupees to do Zora. That's also barring whatever else he finds in South Hyrule while he goes towards the Fake Flipper.
And jmeasher finding only the Bombos medallion in Blind's hut. And meanwhile, $100 gives you a full heart. Not a bad trade this time around.
50 more rupees in that first chest too. We've got rupees, and more rupees, and a flute in Kakariko.
Oh wow! There is no better place to find that flute right there, and that's all they find. But you know what? That speeds up getting around the map big time. Oh,
and the bow.
And the bow. I missed the bow on jmeasher's side.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, so Eastern Palace very well. Like we might see an immediate flute to 5 here. I don't think we will. It's a little brazen to go straight there, but it's definitely a possibility for runners of this caliber. The dark rooms in Eastern, not a huge problem to deal with. Although not having a sword could make dark rooms a little tricky. Also, sorry, I'm talking over the Swag Duck anthem.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I was standing with my fire rod over my heart.
Okay, well that's good.
And both runners just finishing up Kakariko. I think in this situation, I would still definitely do the South Hyrule route. There are just too many potential items down there, and especially if you're, I mean, like you said, runners of this caliber can definitely do dark rooms without too much difficulty. Without the sword, it is a little more difficult, and that's what 7 or 8 possibilities to find a sword or something else that can aid you in those dark rooms. Yeah,
the sword's just really valuable, especially in that second dark room. The first one's actually fairly straightforward, but the second one, you sort of want to be able to navigate those enemies a little bit. You almost want it more as the defensive tool that it actually is than for its vision.
And that's definitely something that you have to get used to if you're playing this sword randomized mode. Is, you know, I've seen seeds where it's been after the hour mark before either player gets a sword, and if you're not very good with some of the other strats, that can be a rough one.
Yeah, it definitely can be. Well, so jmeasher going to South Hyrule. Now, of course, this is even less surprising with the flute because of how immediately you get these checks in.
Yeah, so far just $5 inside the dam, but we have another one outside, plus Mini Moldorm Cave, and even Ice Rod Cave if they choose to check that. And with the flute, I think that would be a good play right now.
Yeah, skipping the Ice Rod Cave when you have boots or flute is not a great play, because lots of people try to leave it, well, not so much in the current version of the logic. Back in the fall tourney, people liked to leave it until they had the boots and the flute, and people got burned from that because, of course, it suddenly had the other one of those two things they were waiting for. Both players now with the knowledge of what's in the Lumberjack Cave. We'll see if jmeasher gets enough money for Zora here, as that could be important in this seed. See how long it takes him to snipe him some mini Moldorms. Well, this should make it easy.
Yeah, that was really nice. And of course, he picked up more than enough arrows, so that was nice. So now we got Piece of Heart, Book of Medora, and we got Red Rupee, another Red Rupee, and the Fisher Price, My First Shield. So
Book is very interesting, because Book actually puts Desert as full completable, barring boots required.
Yes.
But it puts Desert fully completable at this point.
And it looks like jmeasher's gonna go check it out.
I can't blame him at all, because he will route in the Agonist Cave check here somewhere along here, whether it's after he gets blocked out because of the boots, or whether it's because he just goes here. Flip, on the other hand, will very quickly probably regret this decision once he finds the book when he goes to South Hyrule.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Unless, of course, you know, he finds the mirror in Titan's Mist before, where the Book of Medora may be completely optional, but...
Well, or more importantly, if this is like a sword or something that can be used to help him with otherwise help him with the dungeon, a half magic would be good too, of course. Being a bottle, I don't think is quite good enough, but it's... I don't know, can it be hurt Moldorm? Can it be hurt Lanmolas? I don't actually know.
I don't know. The fire rod can, and I believe the bow can as well.
Yeah, the bow can for sure.
jmeasher heading out the different... I don't think he checked to see what was on the the lantern.
Didn't need to. He knows that it's a key, and it doesn't matter which key it is. Because he can't get it, so...
Got it. Okay, so we are boots locked for Desert Palace, which I know when I'm a runner and I see that, I actually like that because I don't like seeds where you'd never find the boots.
I don't mind seeds where you never find the boots. I just don't like finding the boots. It's actually almost the opposite for me. I'd rather not find optional boot, because optional boots can be somewhere really dumb that your opponent could find way before you do. Now, granted, so could required boots, but it's less likely.
And now Flip checking out South Hyrule, and it looks like jmeasher is heading right over to Eastern Palace, so we'll see what Shish Kebab has and how things go in there.
Yeah, so of course, jmeasher skipping on Ice Rod Cave for now could be an important matter here. Or, once again, it could matter not at all. We are still a little short on our overall items that we're looking for. Still a couple items away from a number of different checks here. Mirror or Hookshot unlock quite a bit, as we do, of course, have Death Mountain access already. Mirror unlocks Tower of Hera to get into, although granted, until we have a hammer or a sword, we can't kill Moldorm. And there's the Hookshot, though.
Yeah, Shish Kebab having some value today.
We may skip out on Eastern for now, because we can... It's good, almost just as fast to flute over to 5 and go back up anyway. So this might be a flute to 1 and do East Death Mountain. And probably, yeah, we're gonna get some Dark Room action here. Pull out the Hookshot? Yep, pull out the Hookshot.
Yep. I think that was... my guess is that's probably what changed his mind right there, is the fact that he got that Hookshot and knew that he would have something to be able to traverse those Dark Rooms.
Oh, you don't even need to guess to know that. That is what changed his mind. This was not a play he was going to make before he found the Hookshot. The Hookshot was about the only item in there that was really going to change his mind, I would believe. Without finding a combination of items, like the mirror and the hammer or sword type of thing. Because you'd need to find something that would, like, make Desert completable or make Tower of Hera completable. Or unlock all of East Death Mountain.
And it looks like jmeasher is still trying to rescue the old man who keeps on getting lost for some reason.
Right at the end. Or we fell down a pit. We might have fallen down a pit somewhere along the way. So we should be above the bats right now. And now we're going down the right side of the hallway. We're going to shift over to the left a little bit. We're going to walk out the door in about 2 or 3 more seconds. Yeah, there we go.
All right, very good navigation of that Dark Room. And getting $5 for his trouble. Meanwhile, Flip going to discover real quick that this dungeon is boots locked, but he's following the trails.
We'll see if he shows us which key it is. As I said, it's not really that relevant. We know that it's going to be one of the keys, and the other key is locked behind it. The only real difference he could show us is if he decides to jailbreak a key. I have seen, I think, literally none of that in this tournament, so I don't expect to see it here, but it is a play that is available to the runners.
And it is a small key, so I'm guessing he's probably going to check that center chest, and that'll be it.
Yeah, I would expect so. If he was going to jailbreak a small key, he would have likely just gone and done it right away. jmeasher has to be a little bit careful here. Only 1 heart. And this traversal right here is not a super easy one to guarantee no damage, especially without a sword.
Yeah, these squirrels are very annoying and can easily turn in your direction without any warning, so...
Flip, on the other hand, on his way to Eastern Palace. We'll see if he does Eastern first, or if he goes... Yeah, so he's going to go to Sahasrahla first.
And jmeasher finding a 5-bomb upgrade and the magic cape. So that's kind of interesting right there.
Yeah, 1 item towards possible Aghanim required. Of course, you still need the lamp and a sword before you can do Aghanim in the logic. And
there's the Titan's Mitt.
Yep.
In the that's
That's very interesting, because we could see a Super Bunny Cave if jmeasher so decides to do so. Of course, Super Bunny Cave not in the logic, as it is getting the bunny to have actions in Dark World is definitely a glitch. Oh, missing the bomb jump there too. Not a huge deal, but a little bit of an annoyance. Meanwhile, Flip is following jmeasher's trail here. I'm a little surprised that with that hula hand setup that Flip did, that he did not go to Zora fairly quickly, but I'm not that surprised either, because the seed keeps sort of leading us to high value location.
Yeah, definitely. With the ability to check out Death Mountain, looks like jmeasher is gonna check out probably what's on the island, and it looks like just a red rupee, and then dropping down into Spiral Cave. Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see if he tries out the Super Bunny glitch.
Yeah, it's a very simple glitch. You're literally going to get it just by going in there in the first place, because it just takes falling into a hole while you're in a cave, and you get your actions back. But not part of the logic. And so we'll see exactly what goes on here. Immediate save and quit? Yes. Okay,
so he's saying nope after getting that piece of heart. Meanwhile, Flip basically doing the same rooms, and jmeasher preparing to flute somewhere. I'm guessing he's going to head over to Eastern Palace, because there's really not a whole lot of options left for him.
Yeah, one interesting thing that I would not be surprised to see at this point would be for the seed to give us a mirror and tell us to go to Checkerboard Cave.
Ooh. That would be an interesting one.
So, not a little, much more uncommon than AGA 1, but a little bit more nifty, just as you don't see it very often. So I'm actually sort of cheering for that here. I'd really like to see that mirror show up in the very near future here. I'm also okay with something along the lines of giving us access to, giving us the boots, and then of course giving us the mirror in Desert Palace works as well.
Yeah, the seed being very slow to reveal to us exactly what's going to happen, for sure. jmeasher finding just the map in the first chest in Eastern Palace, because, like you said, we can't do Agnem without a sword. Also, the lamp would be required in the logic for Agnem's tower as well.
Yeah, so we are slowly progressing sort of away from that Agnem likelihood. Of course, with each location that goes by, becomes that much less possible for it to be Aga, because we're, of course, only a moon pearl away from Dark World access otherwise.
And we have just one more accessible chest before this dungeon is locked by the lamp logic.
Yeah, so of course we still do have Zora in our as an available location. What other locations actually are available at the moment within the logic? Not a heck of a lot.
Now, without the Moon Pearl, that really limits the possibilities.
There's 300
looks like
rupees.
Flip is going to do the fake flippers and head up to Zora's domain.
I like this just because of, like I mentioned before, the fact that Zora is being one of those last locations left. This is almost more for the Zora play than it is for the other reason for fake flippers. Nice silver find there.
Yeah, that's really good information to have. Those silver arrows not required, but you know, especially if you only have a master sword, that makes it a heck of a lot easier to defeat Ganon.
jmeasher using the hookshot to great effect in that room, hookshotting all the way across the room to right to the key pot.
And Flip finding an armor upgrade.
Yeah, we won't say no to armor. That's a, while it's not a required find, it's by no means a bad one.
Absolutely, they don't have a ton of hearts, and once they do get into the Dark World, yeah, the difficulty goes up quite a bit. And Flip perfectly setting up that return into the water with that second fake flipper. I have never been able to do that one. One of these days I need to learn it.
Yeah, it's got a fair number of setups. I learned it in 10 minutes off of a GIF that someone posted once, so you know. Whatever works. Of course, with the fire rod here, this becomes even more trivial than it often is, because you can literally see the room if you light a torch.
Yeah, the first few times that I played this game, I had no idea those torches were there. And once I saw someone do that, I just slapped my forehead. That was crazy.
Well, so Flip should have our progression here, whatever it is.
Yeah, by the logic, it has to be progression or a fetch quest that leads to progression for sure.
Come on, Mirror. Come on, Mirror. Now, of course, Mirror also unlocking Tower of Hera at this point, not just the checkerboard cave. It's the boots!
Das Boot! Okay, so that's with the Titan's Mitts, that's 2 additional locations that can be accessed really quickly here.
3 if we include the Desert Palace, that's part of that as well. 1 more item in Desert Palace to find.
Yeah, I'm guessing he might wait until, depending on what this leads to, I'm guessing he might wait to do Desert Palace because the land mullas I find pretty difficult when you don't have a sword.
Yeah, the fire rod can be a little risky there, and then depends on your bow. The lamp. So now Eastern's in logic, but did we find anything else in Eastern?
I didn't see what jmeasher got from the boss, but I didn't see any other items of value in that dungeon.
And it put Old Man in progress, but that old man didn't have anything either. So yeah, so I'm a little confused at what that just, I guess that's just where the lamp is. There's nothing more to read into it than that. Well, Desert Palace, here we come. Well, maybe he might do Eastern first. There it is.
Yeah, that's a smart play, especially with the lamp, which I missed. So I'm assuming lamp was in King's Tomb?
That's correct. Yeah, bomb drop on Irmo. So yeah, big play at this point. So last item in Desert Palace is the item that we need. Which item it is, we don't know yet. It could be the mirror. It could be. Actually, is it basically mirror or fetch? Mirror Moon Pearl or fetch quest?
And jmeasher figuring out the same thing, and he's going to be heading up to Zora as well. So
I guess it could be flippers. Flippers would be another thing it could be because of the. It's not exactly fetch quest. It's more of just the waterfall cave. Ah, true. Chad also calling out the sword for Ega 1. That is also true. Now that we have that lamp, we are just the sword from Ega 1.
So right now, that big question is going to be, what is in Desert Palace? They haven't, I believe. Yeah, I don't remember what was in that middle chest.
It was a red rupee.
A red rupee. So there's only 1 item left in Desert Palace that we haven't seen yet.
Yep, that's why I said there was boots only unlocked 3 checks. Ooh, Flip missed one of them there. Not gonna. Well, let's see what our stun prize is. 5 rupees for the stun prize. Don't know if we knew that already, but now we definitely know it.
Yeah, that is a really nice thing to know. Probably my personal favorite is either the big magic bottle, or I've seen fairy. It doesn't happen very often, but considering the number of enemies you can stun, that's a really nice way to be able to get your life back up. And jmeasher is now going to find his Pegasus boots and be able to progress.
Well, sorry, his lamp. He already found his Pegasus. He's finding his lamp.
My mistake, yes.
It's sort of hard to find the Pegasus boots in King's, to be honest.
Well, it's true. It would be completely impossible.
Titan's Myths, sure. Boots, not so much. Very nice clip there from Flip, only taking 2 damage hits to get that big key.
Yeah, that's one of those things about when you first play Randomizer, you really have to kind of forget about the standard ways for getting places, because the logic will require all sorts of unusual ways to get to places where typically you would do it only one way in the vanilla game.
Yeah, first shot, first chest hookshot cave, Boots by Boots Bonk, can be the hookshot.
And I have seen it there.
Well, jmeasher will be the first one to get to progression, as I was pretty sure would be the case here. We're gonna see what that progression is in. Well, we'll find out how short order. We might be forced to be. Well, to be fair, this wouldn't be the worst Landmolas. A little bit annoying, but you have Fire Rod and Bow to back it up. It's no Bumburna. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm referring to, early on in the Swiss round, this tournament, there was a logically required bombs and Burna only kill on Landmolas.
Ooh, that's rough. I did not know that you could kill Landmolas with bombs.
Yes, you definitely can. I think it's actually even decently effective if you have a decent number of bombs and, like, just a fighter sword. Once you understand the timing.
Yeah, so far I've only played one seed that had bombs as the opening item, and I did not like that at all. And I liked Kena Burna possibly a little bit less, because you have to really be careful about managing your magic.
Well, so both players into, of course, the last check we can possibly have. Is it here, or is it on Landmolas? It is on Landmolas.
Wow.
We are going all the way.
So jmeasher, 21 arrows. I don't know how much it takes to beat each Landmola, but...
4 or 8? I believe it's 4.
And of course, Fire Rod, very effective, only requiring 2 shots, so...
Yeah. And most likely, our runners, knowing this, may very well use Lamp to light all the torches, pick up the magic pot, and go in with 8 Fire Rod shots available to them. Depends on their confidence. They very well may just use the Fire Rod, light the torches, and go in with 6 shots on the Fire Rod, and just use the bow as their backup. Now, of course, they do have to use the bow to kill... Well, they could use the hookshot to kill these as well. And you could use the Fire Rod, but the Fire Rod's just... You don't want to use that resource. Your magic's too precious right now.
Yeah, both runners doing really an excellent job of heading through Desert Palace, and very little separation between them. Basically, the difference in that getting that first bomb during the escape.
So here's jmeasher doing exactly what I was referring to. Gonna light all the torches with the lamp. He will pick up that top left pot, which has a small magic pot underneath it, replenish his magic to full, have a full 8 Fire Rod shots to kill. No, he's not even gonna bother replenishing. He's just gonna have 7 Fire Rod shots.
All right, here we go. Go jmeasher. Let's do this.
2 more Fire Rod shots with 3 attempts. 1 more with 2 attempts. There we are. No problems. They're down.
And finding the Moon Pearl.
Boo! Boo! It's supposed to be the mirror. Seed, please. Please. They're supposed to be the mirror. Or the hammer. And force us to go the long way around Death Mountain to Tower of Hera, which would have been hilarious as well.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, they're able to get to the Dark World now, but they do have to do it without a sword still. So we're now 34.5 minutes into the race, and we have no sword yet.
Yeah, we're
jmeasher Go ahead.
I was going to say, we're going to see exactly what we find here. Well, I'm almost surprised, actually, we didn't get an immediate Meyer check. It would have almost been a worthwhile first thing to do, as it would have been 2 very fast checks, as well as just knowing... Now, granted, Meyer's a pendant, as we now know, so... Green pendant, Turtle Rock, red crystal, was it Swamp? And no, it was Ice Palace and Thieves Town.
Thieves Town 5 and 6, and then the other 2 pendants were, yeah, Misery Mire and
both the
Swamp.
swampy ones. Both of the swampy miry ones. The ones that people mix up the names because they are basically mean the same thing in the first place. Flip is going to have to use a couple arrows here to finish off the last Moldorm. Or a green potion, but 2 arrows will do it. So yeah, it would have been 4 arrows per Moldorm.
Very nice
or
play for both of these characters on, yeah, Land Molas. And jmeasher finding the Ether Medallion, so now we have 2/3 of the medallion requirements where neither medallion might be required.
Yeah, well, at this point, neither one is required. Now, we may need to go into Turtle Rock or Misery Mire for some reason or another, but that Canister Mario not actually what we want to find right now, on that same train of thought.
Yeah, because that just opens up whole new possibilities that are not fun.
That being said, we could have Go Mode Hammer, and then it doesn't matter. Also, that Canister Mario could be quite important, as that's, I think, the first item we found that can damage blind.
That is true, and the logic could require that, so... meanwhile, Flip just finding money in the Misery Mire Cave.
Of course, the not-so-nice part about this is we did find the small key in Thieves Town already, so the hammer could be required for an item in Thieves Town. See what else we find in the front here. We find 50 rupees, and then we get a vanilla big key over here. The other hand, Flip's gonna go do, of course, these Dark World checks.
Yeah, you know, either one of these is a good play. I mean, Thieves Town can easily have some kind of value. Yeah, there's no real clear path that, you know, must go here at this point, so...
Yeah. There is a little bit of a wall on Skullwoods right now, because of course to complete Skullwoods you need a sword to cut the vines away. So that is one of the reasons why we'll see our runners stay away from that for a little while. They sort of want to see the sword, and then I'm sure once we see the sword, we'll see Skullwoods completed fairly quickly.
Well, and plus the Thieves Town area, you know, Dark Palace. Why can't I think of the name of the actual town? Dark Kakariko. Thank you. Combined with Thieves Town. Oh, it's hammer time over in Super Bunny Cave. Wow.
That's also huge because of what I was referring to earlier. This was available by glitch, by Super Bunny glitch, from 15 minutes ago. It's not a huge deal, but it would have been just a slightly more reliable weapon to have around. There's the mirror.
Yeah, so both of these players finding value, and Flip getting a little piece of information and finding out that Turtle Rock is not accessible right now, as it requires the Quake Medallion. And then checking out Hookshot Cave, another 4 chests. So far just money, and more money. And for the last chest, survey says...
The sword!
Sword! Now, that was a good play on Flip's side, big time.
Flip's just going to be glad that he found the hammer first, then the sword, because if you find the sword, you're like, damn it, am I going to do an aggro-required seed? Even after all of this, I'm going to have gone to, like, last item to find the pearl. And then you make me do Aghanim anyways?
Now Flip heading right back up to Death Mountain. He's going to rescue the old man, since he didn't do it before, and then straight up to Tower of Hera, I'm guessing.
Yeah, most likely. Not really a great reason to put it off at the moment. The only real reason to put it off would be if you really want to gamble on leaving it to like the last dungeon so you can complete it and then go right into Ganon's tower, but that's a little strong of a play to make this early in the seed. Well, that being said, we are very quickly approaching Go mode, actually. Like, flippers...
Yeah, we need flippers for Ice Palace.
Flippers and Master Sword? Is that it?
Yeah, I think everything else has been found by one of the players. Wow.
Well, and not needing the Ice Rod is... Not needing the Ice Rod, of course, is part of that as well, but... Yeah, we don't need Quake because we don't need to get into Turtle Rock, at least as far as we know. We don't need. Oh, come on! You can do it, Jamie. Well, this is gonna be real tight for jmeasher, just because he has to avoid all hits for the next little bit here. There's the laser to the face.
Wow. Oh, but he has the fairy.
But he has a fairy, right? That fairy that we fortunately did not try to death warp away with, and everything is fine now.
Very nice. Blind falls, gives the map, but you know what? That's another crystal, so that's 3 crystals for jmeasher now. And Flip choosing to check out Spike Cave. That was another location that was opened up by that cave, but just finding a little bit of love there.
But not only by the cape, of course, by the hammer, important part of that check as well. Now, is this just the flute location, save and quit? Is that all this is? Yes. Yes, it is.
Now, jmeasher in a really good position, having both the Titan's Mitts and the mirror now. He's going to be able to do a bunch of the overworld, dark world stuff. He's going to be able to do the frog. He's going to be able to do... He cannot do Peg Cave because he doesn't have the hammer, but he can go down and do Hype Cave as well.
Oh yeah, I'm misthinking about dungeons. Yeah, we're actually Master Sword from Go mode. Because from these runners Go mode. Because they've already both shown off that they can fake Flipper. And Swamp Palace is a pendant.
Oh wow. So yeah, in terms of the player's ability, we are 42 minutes in. We have 1 item for Go mode,
and that item is not one that I must say that once our runners get to have these items that the other runners have, it is literally it is basically Crystal Dungeon mode, because you just do the Crystal Dungeons and hope that you find a sword along the way.
Right.
Yeah, you don't need Quake Church of X. We have Turtle Rock and Misery Mire both aren't required. Swamp Palace is not required. And so since Swamp Palace is not required, we don't need flippers. Because we can get to Ice Palace without flippers with the fake flipper glitch. We don't need any medallions. So we're in swordless no mode.
And jmeasher picking up the lunchbox and heading south, so we're going to have several locations, I believe, 8 or 9 chests that he's going to be able to check. And, you know, we don't know where any of the other sword locations are, so, you know, one of those locations could definitely be there.
Yeah. And of course, we're going to have a combination of, so for jmeasher, it's a combination of when does he go pick up the hammer, and when does he realize that, and to what degree does he start go moding? And then for Flip, what does Flip even still need at this point? Flip needs the mirror?
He does need... Oh, is the mirror actually required? I don't think we found anything where the mirror is required yet.
Yeah.
So mirror may not be required, he just needs that Master Sword, I believe. It is worth noting, Flip also knows where those silver arrows are. jmeasher, I don't think he went that direction when he went up to Zora.
I believe you're correct. So yeah, this seed is a little bit on the silly side, as yeah, Flip is. Of course, it can't really. It's hard. It's up to someone's discretion if they call this go, to what degree they call this go mode. I'd say it's still not go mode because you still have to open every chest you come across at the moment. Because you don't want to pass up the chest that could have that sword just because you're too lazy to open the chest that's right there. But you also don't go out of your way looking for more chests.
And jmeasher finding out that just a rupee hoard, so another 300 rupees, is on the Bombos tablet. And now we're going to go see. We call it Hype Cave. We'll see if it lives up to that.
Flip picks up his mirror right here anyways, so it's sort of irrelevant that he doesn't have it, because there it is regardless.
So now Flip, as far as his abilities, he only needs a sword upgrade. jmeasher just needs a sword upgrade and the hammer. And
Well,
there's the flippers.
There's the flippers. Hi, flippers. So we're really in go mode. Well, in no mode. No mode, go mode, whatever. Sword mode.
I don't even know what to call this.
Yeah,
of course.
That hype cave was like not hype because of the fact that it didn't have a sword in it, and the sword's all we need. Therefore, hype cave wasn't hype. I think. Is that how that works?
Well, remember though I'm definitely going to call that the Cavern of Disappointment today. But you know, the flippers can actually be a bad thing, because with flippers and mirror and hookshot, swamp is now a possibility. I think it would have been better for them not to find the flippers. That way, yeah, but they didn't even have to consider that.
It's not going to affect me, sure, because he's not going to consider it until he finds the hammer, which he's finding right now anyways. And the other interesting thing, actually, to mention, it actually is a little bit of hype. As soon as I say it wasn't, I renege on it, because those flippers are basically required for the silver arrows.
That is a good point. So Flip is going to be very happy immediately when he finds those flippers, because he'll know he'll be able to get those.
If he finds them.
There's jmeasher's hammer. I'm sure he'll go right up to check out the hookshot cave, and he'll get his first sword. And I'm guessing now that he has the hammer, head straight up to Tower of Hera.
Well, and the interesting thing here is the fact that like I was trying to say there as we were talking, Flip actually doesn't have a reason to go to Hype Cave. He's not going to Swamp Palace, so he's not going to go right to it, right beside it. And well, really, that's it. Like unless he has to start searching until he starts searching for a sword, he has no reason to go to Hype Cave. He should just go to Pod at this point and hope that Pod has items for him. But he's going to keep checking items now. Whether that's because he's not aware he's in go mode. Now, granted, the cane's going to be good to get. The cane does lock 5 locations in Ganon's Tower. So it's very good to get the cane anyways, because even though it may not be required for either Ganon's Tower or Ice Palace, as it can be required for both, it's good to have it so that you don't have to worry about those odd situations.
Now, jmeasher said, "Oh, just a little piece of love." So, the Book of Medora was required to get into Desert Palace, but not for anything else.
Yep.
And of course, now we're in Tower of Hera. 2 unique items in this dungeon, and could one of them be the sword that puts jmeasher into actual go mode?
Oh, we're doing the basement. Yeah, the basement, jmeasher, not the top of the tower. Yeah, as we sit around in this really awkward middle go mode because of the fact that basically it's just open all chests in Crystal Dungeons mode. Which is not the wordiest thing to say.
Well, probably no more difficult than Go mode, kind of, asterisk.
Or just Go mode asterisk, yeah. Go mode, huh?
Okay, but if we call it that, you have to do the huh in exactly that way.
Okay. Oh, look,
And
a fairy.
jmeasher finding the vanilla big key, now able to progress up that.
Nice little double bounce there. Oh, don't fall. Don't fall. You can do it. You can do it, jmeasher. You can do it. You can do it. Oh!
And switching to the hammer to do a little more damage. There we go.
Someone calling it faux mode. I can get behind faux mode. Faux mode is pretty good.
Well, I'm actually trying to figure out the reference because faux is pho. That's the name of a soup. I think it was faux is an F-A-U-X.
Yeah, it's also false.
jmeasher
interesting
finding
little
bombs.
timing there. Flip needs to just make sure he doesn't die here. Although, who still has the fairy? Can't remember. Flip still has his fairy, I think.
jmeasher already used his fairy, so Flip's still good.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need it. He takes down probably the worst boss in the game and gets 3 bombs for his trouble.
Well, I'd rather find the 3 bombs than no item. I think that's both items out of Skullwoods, although I don't actually know.
And jmeasher polishing off Moldorm and getting the map. So is he done then?
jmeasher?
He didn't go to the basement. Can the basement actually have the small key with the new logic?
He went to the basement. It was vanilla big key.
Oh, that's right. My mistake.
Now, that being said, it could have the small key, but it doesn't because we already used it.
I know that was when they switched to the, I think it was V28 logic, and they changed it to where, you know, things like the big key in Thieves Town can be,
Swamp
or
Palace.
Yeah, and Thieves Town.
No, it's just the small key in Thieves Town.
Right.
But in the big chest, which is where the confusion came from.
Yeah.
Well, hi, Ether. At this point, of course, we are 4 crystal dungeons to 4 crystal dungeons, so we're pretty much dead even in that regard. The big thing here is Flip is not playing this as Go mode. jmeasher is. Or at least jmeasher's playing this as all crystal dungeons, but I believe jmeasher is playing this as Go mode.
I would say at this point, still needing a sword upgrade, he's definitely going to be opening up every chest he can, especially in Palace of Darkness, which has so many locations.
Oh, and Palace of Darkness being a nice free one to open all the chests, because you need to find the big key anyways. So you need to full clear until you find the big key. So it's not even like you're wasting time like you are in Ice Palace, or... Of course, we're not doing Swamp Palace this seed, but I'm going to throw it out there just as another show of... You can do this dungeon with 0 chests, or with Swamp Palace with the first chest that has a small key.
Yeah, and jmeasher finding...
Go ahead.
I was just saying jmeasher finding the Cane of Burna in the first chest in Pod, so it was bow locked, although we found the bow so early, really didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Go through here. We'll see if he mirrors. He probably won't, just because he has the boots. He'll do that little nifty bonk that everyone can do at this point. Wow, the keys were real sparse in here. If it wasn't for the fact that you can loop back around to the front, you almost key lock yourself. But of course, there will be a whole bunch of keys in here. I believe these might all have to be small keys in here.
Yeah, I never really studied all the logic and exactly how all this works. But I mean, these runners of this caliber probably know exactly how many small keys are going to be in certain places at certain times.
Yeah, I was trying to think, because this is a really odd one. Because if we use the 2 small keys we had, then we'd have to get the small... Well, no, if we used both of them, we'd be fine there. No, so they didn't all have to be small keys. Vanilla big key or the front drop-down could still be a non-small key. But... So the big thing here is that Flip, as we mentioned before, Flip will likely do Hype Cave right now, and that will give him the flippers, which will then lead to the silver arrows, most likely. And that will be a significant advantage that he may be the only one to have, and is a significant difference if we end up doing Master Sword Ganon. As Master Sword Ganon in Phase 4 takes 24 spins with the Master Sword, or 4 spins followed, or, well, 4 silver arrows, which takes as many spins as it takes. We're getting a hammer jump here.
Not quite hitting it.
Yeah, unbuffered, which was interesting there. Did we get the big key already? I don't think we did. Maybe we did. I didn't see what... I'm not paying enough attention to what's going on here.
Alright, jmeasher in the dark maze, finding just a small heart, or piece of heart in the first chest, heading over to the right, and finding a 5-bomb upgrade. So we're going to see what's in the big chest, and then it's time for whatever his name is. I can't think right now. Helmasaur King, thank you. My goodness. This is a Super Metroid run, right?
Yes. Super Metroid ALTTP crossover run, totally happening right now on Speed Gaming. It's not happening, but you know. What does Flip find? Nothing.
I actually watched about an hour of one of those runs, and my mind was just blown. The level to which you would have to know those games. Both games.
And finally going into Pod, which is not specifically going to pay off as far as we can tell, but it needs to be done at some point, so may as well be now.
Yeah, I didn't notice if we've already received both the map and the compass, so Helmasaur King might not have anything of value.
We have not. The map is still out there.
Okay, so we know, other than the required crystal, Pod really having nothing of value.
Oh yes, jmeasher has a sword, correct. Just for shout out to our tracker there for we'll get him on that. jmeasher does indeed have a sword.
So we already know Tower of Hera doesn't have a sword upgrade. Pod doesn't have a sword upgrade. We know that Skull Woods doesn't have a sword upgrade. So if Ice Palace doesn't have a sword upgrade, where do you go?
You go to Ganon's Tower.
And hope a sword upgrade's there, yeah.
Like you don't have a good reason to try to skip to give up 26 locations, 27 locations that could be a sword. Now, granted, I think only like 20 of those can act, like 20 of them can be a sword or something like that. But you know what I'm saying.
Right, that's true. It's a lot of location, or a lot of chests in a very small amount of space, so you're absolutely correct.
And on top of that, completing Ganon's tower doesn't require the Master Sword. Just killing Ganon does. So it's still fully completable, even though we don't have the Master Sword yet. Of course, jmeasher gonna have fun with this part of the fight where he has to land, I believe, 8 arrows to finish off Helmasaur.
Yeah, 8 arrows, definitely not being able to just do it the nice way, but completing it just the same.
Yeah.
And picking him up another crystal and a well-earned compass, or map rather.
Flip confirming these chests for me. I was not keeping enough track of jmeasher even did these chests to know what's going on with these. But he did, the map was on Helmasaur, okay.
Yes, map was on Helmasaur. And I'm guessing jmeasher full cleared it because he's heading out of the area now.
Yeah. Oh, okay, it was all small keys. Not sure whether that was required in the first place, but what happened? And so, of course, jmeasher going to go on to his Skullwoods play. And we'll then, you know, you won't get anything out of the Skullwoods play except for the crystal. Then we'll get the Ice Palace play. I'd be a little interested to see if we see a Pyramid Fairy. I don't think we will. I think if a Swamp Palace was the last crystal we were doing, or at least was a crystal we did after we had the 5 and 6 crystals, you might see a Pyramid Fairy play. I don't think we'll see it from any other dungeon.
And a couple people mentioning in chat, yeah, we're pretty sure that jmeasher did not actually. He did Fig Flipper up to Zora, but we don't think that he actually went by Hylia Island. Only Flip did, so he's the only one with the knowledge that the silvers are there.
So meanwhile, on we go. jmeasher into the Skullwoods.
Yeah, Skullwoods being one of the fastest dungeons if you're already in go mode, and he's heading straight to that fight with Mothula.
Now it's still a real tricky fight, of course, because you are doing this with the Fire Rod, a Fighter Sword. You have a hammer for damage option. jmeasher might still have his. I think jmeasher still has his green potion. I know Flip used his green potion in the fight. So he used his, but he used it for exactly what I'm talking about. So we'll see what how jmeasher's fight goes here. Yeah, not sure exactly what jmeasher's plan is right now, because I feel like he should at least pull out the hammer so that it's ready for if he gets into a good position for hammer hits. It's not a huge deal either way. If he just feels more comfortable using sword spins, that's fair.
Oh, come on, jmeasher. He's getting a little low on hearts. Down to just 1.
Oh, right, jmeasher also... Yeah, jmeasher never went to Hobo. He's still in green mail. Does get it down.
Wow. Props to jmeasher for taking down Mothula and getting another crystal.
Meanwhile, of course, Flip opens up, sits through the tied for longest cutscene in the game, I believe, if I understand correctly. That and the Meyer cutscene are actually the same length. Meyer just feels 3 times as long because you don't see what's happening; you just get the rumbling effect.
Yeah, that's a pretty long, drawn-out one. Now, interestingly enough, jmeasher choosing not to check the pedestal being right there.
It's not really a surprise. There's no reason to check pedestal. Even if you find out it's a sword, you're not going to do every single dungeon and for a sword.
Okay, that's a good point, yeah. jmeasher now heading directly to Ice Palace, so he still doesn't know that those silver arrows are right there, not a few feet away.
Yeah, you got the call that jmeasher is ahead. jmeasher definitely a decent amount ahead. We'll see if he picks up those silvers. Actually, it's very hard for him to do right now, so if he checks them after Ice Palace, it's going to be his one saving grace. The other thing will, of course, be execution through the rest of the game. Using a fighter sword to get up Ganon's tower is not a fun task. He's also an armor upgrade down on Flip as well, which could also come into play. Yeah, chat pointing out that there could be some there could be some really fringe cases that like Quake's required for Turtle Rock and Misery Mire and is on pedestal, and all three swords are locked behind those two dungeons type of thing. Let's not go there. let's just we're not going that convoluted this seed, guys.
Although we definitely won't say never because this seed has been kind of unusual.
Yeah, that I guess we didn't require a double dip on Desert. Just both of our runners routed the early game pretty much identically after the Flip did that Houlihan room, which made him routed a little bit behind where jmeasher was.
And chat, other members of chat pointing out that Quake Medallion cannot be at pedestal.
Oh, right, of course.
Because if it's... Yeah.
It would need to be for those two. Of course, I'm being dumb. I'm
so
doing the exact
pedestal
opposite
hype,
of what we need.
Yeah, pedestal hype is dead.
Yeah, there's nothing because we've checked both tablets, so we're not going to have that really annoying... that one of those really dumb things where pedestal and both tablets are swords. We could have Quake at the top of Ganon's tower and then a required dip into one of those dungeons, but that's not really that bad.
Well, I know Flip went into Mire. Do we actually know what the required medallion was for Misery Mire?
I don't know.
Well, in any case, both runners in Ice Palace, jmeasher, a little bit ahead.
Great for the boss. He's just saying, I'm not checking any of Ice Palace. I don't really agree with this. I think the right side check, given that you got a small key in the first one, I would do the right side checks. They're really fast when you have a small key in the first chest. And so we'll see what Flip decides to do here. Nice bomb strats there.
So we haven't actually found a single unique item in Ice Palace yet. He just got that small key and went directly to the boss.
Flip also not doing right side. Interesting. jmeasher in a lick of trouble here. He's just gonna use his blue potion to get himself out of that lick of trouble. 2 small keys. Wow. Flip, why are you doing this? Flip, why? This is not what you do right now. You just go upstairs and go through the key door.
Oh, jmeasher just got the Master Sword from Cold Stare. Oh. He is in go mode. Not a particularly fun go mode.
No, especially if he does not find those silver arrows. This could come down to the silver versus silverless execution. Because jmeasher having a very significant lead right now with the about half of Ice Palace lead, half of the full clear of Ice Palace, and all of Tower of Hera. Now, granted, Tower of Hera will be go-moded, but we do have to do the tile room. Still a swamp. Swamp's not required, guys. We are done 7 crystals. Actually, speaking of which, what are we doing here? We need to be doing this game. If it's not started already, did you start it? Oh, okay, Drosy started it. Good on you, Drosy. I'm slow.
Well, obviously I wasn't paying attention either, but I will go ahead and tell people that, hey, there's a little game we like to play. It's called Find the Ganon's Tower Big Key. There are 22 item locations where the big key can be in Ganon's Tower, and put your answers in chat of what chest or what location number it's going to be. Could it be in the on that bonk lantern? Could it be in the very last chest they find? We don't know. Put in your guesses right now, 1 through 22, and we'll see who ends up being closest to that. And thanks to members of chat for paying more attention than we apparently were.
Well, and Drosy, our tracker, had it started anyways, so he's on the ball. Drossy's got this. So yeah, so this will come down to the execution, because of course the big thing here is jmeasher. Not only is he doing Master Sword Silverless potentially, we don't know what he's going to find just yet, of course, but he's also doing it in green mail.
Yeah, this is rough, because there's some enemies in Ganon's Tower, including Ganon himself, that do a lot of damage, so doesn't have a ton of hearts for only having green mail, so that could definitely be a potential difference.
And so this is the biggest thing, is that so if jmeasher executes perfectly, he wins. But jmeasher executing perfectly, or trying to execute perfectly, also leads to risks that could cause him to die and lose the lead. So this is where I'm saying the execution is going to be huge to the rest of this race. Flip has that huge advantage in the fact that he does have those.
So that's 2 locations checked.
The mail upgrade.
And no big key yet. And jmeasher heading over to the left side now. And the bonk lantern just having 5 bombs. So that's 3 item locations, no big key.
And I imagine there's a good chance that we will see a... oh, he sees he has a fairy, so he's going to just keep using hammer strats for a little bit here. But there's a good chance we see a mushroom turn in here from Flip as well, as he just did get the mushroom in Ice Palace, as he will likely also refill his bottles before he goes up up here.
And nothing in chests 4 through 7.
Although if Flip doesn't have another safety, this could be a problem. And from him not opening his menu, yeah, he only has 2 bottles and they're both empty, so... he's got to clutch this out real hard.
Okay, I didn't see what item location number 8 was, but it was not a big key, so jmeasher still deep in the search.
So Flip is going to go turn in the mushroom and get potions, I imagine.
And jmeasher already had a lead, but this is definitely going to extend his lead. That and Flip was checking some additional item locations, which was a perfectly good decision as well. But this does definitely work to jmeasher's advantage now.
Yeah, Flip will have a solid... we'll have very good safeties for now. Is he turning in the mushroom? He is not turning in the mushroom. I thought he'd do it.
And we have a 5-bomb upgrade, 20 bucks, a red bottle, and a map. Still no big key. I believe we're heading over to Bob's chest.
Still no big key, and still no further safeties either. Which is equally surprising. We still don't have we still haven't found that last mail upgrade. We still haven't found another sword. We did find another bottle, at least, of course.
Of course, the lack of those items is probably in part due to the fact that there were 3 whole dungeons, some with lots of items in them, that we never had to check.
That is true. Not to mention most of Overworld. Well, I guess we did search Flip has searched a lot of overworld for us.
Right, but you know, we need to definitely take a look at the in-game time right now, and just how close jmeasher is to finishing the game. This has been a really quick seed, and at least in this version of logic, I find it to be pretty rare to have an instance where you don't have to go to any of the pendant dungeons.
Well, I've been finding I've been finding it fairly evenly paced. I've been seeing a lot of seeds actually lately that have had no pendant required. I've seen plenty of seeds that have all 3, and then I've seen those crazy seeds that have like a pendant boss required, and like that's it. And I'm like, what are you even doing, seed?
And jmeasher's still not finding that big
jmeasher,
key.
just don't do the bomb jump. Just walk your way down there. Well, he doesn't have a choice after this. Okay, he made the bomb jump. He didn't have a choice after that because he was out of bombs, so that could be a problem in different locations.
Yeah, he burned some of his bombs right before the rando room, so.
No, Flip is out of bombs. jmeasher's fine.
Sorry.
And are we getting tile? No, we're not. Chest 20.
No, I believe it's 19. But oh no, you're right, 20. So let's go ahead and end the game and see who. I do not know the command to stop the game.
There we go.
And congratulations to Paul the Black for being a supporter of the room and guessing the number 17, which was the closest guess.
How was
Congratulations.
17 the close? No one guessed 22. Oh, the counts are off again.
Yeah, that is pretty surprising when you had chat wanting, 3 swords to be behind the pedestal or something like that.
I'm wondering what happened there. Either that or we have a lot of people who aren't qualified, but I don't know. Rambler's on it. I'll leave it to him. Everything's fine.
Well, then I'll just say, if you guessed 20, congratulations, you're right. Meanwhile, jmeasher heading up the gauntlet.
Is he catching the fairy? Yeah, he's going to drink the potion and catch the fairy. Don't mind that play. Not in green mail where Ganon can, like, one-shot you practically.
Yeah, I don't know the heart numbers off the top of my head, but you definitely don't want to hug Ganon with only green mail.
It's 8. It's 8 hearts for a green mail hug.
Right, so that's 2 hits. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No. And Flip did make the move to go buy some bombs before going to Ganon's tower. Probably a very prudent move.
Absolutely, that's he knows that his next stop is going to be, well, Tower of Hera first, and then right up to Ganon's tower. So you definitely don't want to gamble that you're going to find bombs later.
No, you can pick up a couple bombs through Tower of Hera, but you don't want to overly risk it. There goes all the Lenmolas.
Yeah, so far jmeasher's task of heading up through Ganon Tower has been really smooth. Is Flip going into T-Rock, or is he just opening it up just in case?
I think he's just taking this portal. He's just... Yeah, I believe it would be faster to take the Super Bunny portal when this is already open, but I think this is just a routing, being used to routing it this way. He just wants to be in Dark World so that after he finishes Tower of Hera, he just goes back in the portal and is at Ganon's tower. Or he could do this. This will work. This will at least get him past the Lionel without taking damage. I'm not sure that's really worth it when you're going to Tower of Parry. Like, you're not going to die in Tower of Hera with 8 hearts any more than you are with 12.
So right now with... Oh, jmeasher picking up
the
red sword. Woo! Wow.
That will probably seal the game. The Master Sword Silverless is very, very dangerous for just how long it has to go on, how much you have to manage your magic, especially since we don't have the half magic yet either. That just shortens the fight and the danger time just so much.
Wow, yeah.
It's not a foregone conclusion yet, though. Of course, it's definitely still very possible to just take Ganon hugs, or even the Fire Bat hits, doing I believe 3 or 4 hearts each. Will very quickly add up in Green Mail. So death's still definitely very possible, but jmeasher now definitely having the tools he needs to be able to win this race.
Yeah, we're just now hitting the 121 mark, so I believe we're still definitely looking at the possibility of a sub 130 seed here.
Like, he could almost sub 125 if he does this almost flawlessly.
And that first one may have been a double. I
believe
tell.
It was, because I believe he got a double knockback, and I don't think you get more than one knockback for a false blue ball hit. That one definitely a single, because that was a blue ball. Up to 5. One more.
And that's all she wrote. Wow, very quick Agnem. I think he has about 40 seconds on Agnem 2. Very, very nice. You know, we were saying that execution was going to be a big part of this match. Ended up not being quite so close, but you know, his execution has been right on point, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been right there. And as chat pointing out, it's going to be more than one death at this point. Like, it's definitely just straight up jmeasher's race to lose at this point. But with the green mail, it's not out of the question. But the tempered sword pretty much puts it to, like, I don't know how much jmeasher has played like Oko or some of the higher risk levels, but definitely if you're used to anything more difficult than the standard mode, this should not really be a problem for you, most likely.
And jmeasher making quick work of the first round of Ganon, getting those double hits in. Now he's got to be really careful. 4 hearts left.
Yeah, just needs a couple more slashes here. Ooh, takes a death, but I think he's got a fairy.
He does have a fairy, and I'm not sure if he filled up a bottle or not.
And this is the most dangerous part. The parts after this are much more sort of just... You just sort of go on autopilot for a lot of these experienced runners. Still definitely possible to take, like... With a Fire Bat hit being a death for him right now, that is an important point to be at. But definitely very possible for him to just... He can play it relatively safely at this point, and still be very quick.
And getting the torch glitch, that makes the rest of this a heck of a lot easier.
And just pops out a blue potion, so we're not even going to worry about taking a Fire Bat hit.
Doing a perfect job setting up for that hit right after lighting the lamp.
Nice for a triple. Oh, I don't think he got that hit. Of course, we are looking for 12 spins here. I believe we were on about 6 or 7 already. Lost my exact count, but we're getting real close to the end here. I see no reason to expect that we are... A fall is about what it's going to have to take here for this to not be for jmeasher to win.
And there we go. Ganon falls. We're just waiting for him to head across the platform.
And there we are. jmeasher has finished. Do you have the Speed Racing TV channel there, Scott Davis?
Yes, I'm looking it up right now. And we have an official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 50 seconds.
Just like it says on screen. You know, what a seed. And it could have been probably, if we'd had a slightly earlier sword, that could have been probably another 5 or 10 minutes faster. Just with basically the same routing, but an earlier sword. It's hard to say for sure, because jmeasher did go mode pretty hard for most of that.
And I see jmeasher is in the waiting room. Shall I go ahead and pull him in?
Yeah, definitely go ahead.
And joining us in chat now is jmeasher. GG. Very well done on a very unusual seed.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was kind of crazy how open that ended up being. I was kind of just looking over my tracker, and I was like, I really only need hammer and 2 swords at this point, which was nuts.
So, do you want to know what's even more nuts? Is that Flip was in that sort of ability to know that he's in go mode probably 10 minutes before you.
Oh, yeah.
Because he went up to Death Mountain as the first thing that he did once he found the Moon Pearl. And, like, that was it, right? Like, of course, we know at this point that we did need the Cane of Samaria, so it was... The go mode, of course, you needed that, but I think he was in go mode before he even went into that Thieves Town area, technically.
Now, of course, as you were playing your way through Ganon's Tower, you got a pretty late and very welcome red sword. Did you breathe quite the sigh of relief when you saw that?
Oh yeah, I had committed myself to Master Sword Silverless Ganon if it came down to that, and I'm pretty confident in my ability to do that. But yeah, that was a big sigh of relief because I knew it was gonna make that fight so much easier.
Well, so there was two other nice little safeties.
Oh really?
One was.
Sounds like something went wacky with Spiffer's mic.
Yeah, I had to disconnect there for a moment. But yeah, so Blue Mail on Hobo.
Okay.
And Silver's on Hylia Island.
I was about to say, I think I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
I didn't check either of those locations. Just because I didn't want to do any of that stuff until I had Moon Pearl early, and then once I got flippers, I was like, that wasn't really a high priority area. I had dungeons that I could go do.
Yeah.
So I just kept putting it off, and the seed kept giving me, trailing the breadcrumbs along, and I never went back there.
Well, it was very interesting because we realized partway in, we're like, okay, so we're flippers and Master Sword to go mode, and then we realized that flippers aren't even needed for go mode. We're like, well, okay, so we're in sword mode, which is basically go mode, but you open more chests.
Yeah, I was debating on how far to go with that. I opened a few in Ice Palace, and didn't really open any extraneous chests in the other locations. But yeah, I was just kind of like I said, I committed myself to Master Sword Silverless at that point. I was gonna go all the way through the tower. Even if it did give me a sword, then I would finish off Aga and just go sword hunting at that point.
Yeah. And fortunately, you did get that one off Cold Stare. If it had been elsewhere in Ice Palace, it would have been one more advantage that Flip would have had there. And who knows how that seed would have turned out, because a 12-heart green mail Master Sword Silverless would have been interesting. Granted, I don't think you took a hit in Phase 4, so...
No, I'm pretty confident in that phase. It's phase 2 with the Master Sword Ganon fight that I was really concerned about. So once I got the Tempered Sword, I was feeling pretty good. Granted, it was a really good thing I picked up that fairy in GT, or that would have been tragic, but I felt like I had enough safeties.
Yeah, I think with even just the blue potion, you would have managed. You just would have potioned once you went down to 3 hearts. Or wait, was there something else? I can't even remember exactly how that fight went now, because you did potion when you were at 3 hearts.
Yeah, I knew I had 2 blue potions, so that was just kind of, I just play it safe. There's no reason to get crazy here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be interesting to see the final count of the number of item locations you actually opened up, because there were, all those pendant dungeons. That was a lot of items that you never had to check. You have 6 in Swamp, it's 5 in Turtle, plus the Mimic Cave.
Don't just count those items. It's actually all the locations, don't forget. So in Swamp there's another 4 chests. In Misery Mire there's another 6 chests that you don't have to open. So on and so forth. You have to count all the chests as part of the location track.
That's true. And despite some of the kind of screwiness and the lack of a sword for a decent portion of it.
Oh no, Flip.
What happened?
He skipped the Tempered Sword. He's doing Master Sword Silvers.
Oh, well, Silvers is better than Silverless, that's for sure.
Yes. Well, everyone, we're getting Master Sword Silvers. You're seeing something new, at least, from Flip here.
Yeah, the item count will probably end up being pretty low. What's really funny about this is this is a PB for me. Not by a whole lot. I actually had a practice seed last night that I did 125. I actually ended up with a super low, like a 116 item count.
So looking at your first sword time, 46:54 first sword, and you finish in an hour 24.
And got a PB. I'd say it does. I'd say it doesn't really matter how good or how much you beat your previous PB by. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, I in a tournament race, no less. It's unreal, really.
Yeah, only 131 item locations checked. That's
pretty good. That's better than I usually do.
Yeah, I was a little surprised you did skip the right side of ice. Fortunately, of course, there was nothing good there, so it was sort of irrelevant, but...
Well, getting the boomerang in that chest actually kind of pushed me away from doing it. Just because there's one less item in the pool for those chests to have.
Right.
So I figured I would grab that chest, see if there was an item, and if there was, then I would just skip out on the rest.
Right. Well, either way, Flip finishing off Aga 2. Onto the big pig fight himself with the good old Master Sword Silvers. I'm not sure if he sells a fairy. I expect that he does, because otherwise he may as well either take an intentional death ray off the bat or use the potion, whichever he felt like he was going to do. Almost dies to the trident before getting off the potion, too. That should be pretty good. Yeah, we're on to fire bats.
And Flip using my favorite strategy, turning on the cape and just doing damage. Unfortunately, without half magic, that cape eats up that magic pretty quickly.
Yeah. Now, on the fortunate side, he doesn't need quite as much magic in the very end of this, but it does mean I don't think he has any more safety magic to use at this point. Like, maybe half a bar. Maybe half a bar of safety magic to use at this point. Ooh. I thought he was dead there. Fortunately, the iframes from the hook shot lasted just long enough to get him past that fire bat. Oh, we're on to phase 3. Which means we are... Flip should be fairly safe here, barring a fall at this point. With the blue mail and full magic and silvers, shouldn't be too much trouble here. Even if he does take an inadvertent hit or two from fire bats or Ganon hugs.
Yeah, absolutely. He's in good shape. He's going to finish this fight in about 15-20 seconds, and
got the potion glitch. Jeez, who uses the right words at the right time? Got the torch glitch.
Well, I'm going to say thank you because I made quite a few errors today too. So
I'm not quite sure how that didn't stun him. Anyways, got the kill. No problems.
Absolutely, and Flip heading into the throne room, and his official SRTV time is 1 hour, 36 minutes, 28 seconds.
What a race. Unfortunately, Flip just checking a few more overworld locations wasn't rewarded with that sword to help him catch up. We'll see if we can get him in here for an interview. As we do have Flip joining us here in the chat. GG, Flip.
Hey, thanks.
GG.
GG.
So
I was
Flip,
chatting with jmeasher in the runner chat. He just destroyed that seed.
well, so on a similar question, Flip, when did you realize you were in sword mode? Whatever you want to call Master Sword required go mode.
About 33 minutes. I mean, before I had my second crystal, I was going into Thieves, and I knew that all I needed was a sword. And so I thought about just go moding everything and just hoping that I found a sword in GT or somewhere along the way. But I was too worried that if I didn't find one, that I would be on this weird scavenger hunt.
And it would have panned out if you had done that for multiple... Of course, there was the sword on Cold Stare, but there was also one in the mini helmet sword room up top that you ran right past, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, no, at that point I had my Master Sword and silvers, so I figured I was good.
And it's like, you already knew you'd lost the race at that point, so what's the difference, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that was an interesting Ganon fight combo because you, Flip, did Master Sword silvers, and jmeasher did red sword silverless.
On top of that, Measher never found the blue mail.
I feel like I had that early. Where was that?
Hobo.
Okay. Oh yeah, because if he would have gone to Hobo, he would have seen silvers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never went. I never went there.
So that could have paid off for you. It didn't in this case. jmeasher just crushed his execution. You had a couple little slips there, unfortunately. The death on Cold Stare, of course, was the big one, probably.
Yeah. I forgot that I didn't have a blue potion, so I went to go use it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah,
well.
and then when jmeasher found the tempered sword, we were like, well, that's that. But no, it was a fantastic race. It was just we're looking, and all of a sudden we realize we're in go mode because we don't need flippers. We don't need the Canis. Well, we did need the Canis Samaria, but
that was the other thing. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you went go mode all the way to GT and then didn't have Kane for right side?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's happened to me on multiple practice seeds. So I was actually like, normally in a situation like that where Misery Mire and Turtle Rock are both pendants, you'd probably be unhappy to see the Kane, but I was glad to have that and not have to worry about that for GT.
I was in Thieves Town when I was thinking about that. Like, probably don't need the Kane, but I might need the Kane. Like, do I need to worry about that? And then after Thieves Town, I went to the chess game and got it there, and I was like, okay, good. I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Also, I guess the other question we need to ask is how about that Moon Pearl?
That was pretty funny.
Moon Pearl was on Lamolus.
Linmola's after required
Zora boots.
Which I was really surprised you didn't have the Zora boots right off the bat there, Flip. After you did the Houlihan rumor, I'm like, he'll go do Zora right away, and then that didn't happen.
I would have fake flippered right after Ice Rock Cave, but I was feeling a little bit greedy. I wanted to check one or two more places, hoping to get Moon Pearl, because I wanted to get those waterfall chests at the same time. Of course, that didn't work.
Yeah, I went straight to desert after getting the book. Just fluted over there.
You guys basically did the same thing. Like Flip was behind because he did a Houlihan room right off the bat, and
okay.
that was most of the difference between you guys in the early game routing. You basically did the same things through to the Moon Pearl after that.
Yeah, Houlihan costs about 1 minute, all other things equal. And when I went to Zora, I felt like we hadn't found that many rupees, so there was a chance that I was getting there early, but I had also held off on fake flippers at that point.
Yeah, I don't do fake flippers generally until I have Moon Pearl, so Zora was pretty much my last check.
Well, and I like the play because leaving Sanctuary you already had gloves because gloves were in Sanctuary. I like the idea of going, I can get enough rupees to have Zora in my pocket and go do Zora right off the bat because Zora's already in Logic with just the gloves. I'm just going to go do Zora, hope it's something, and then you just didn't pull the trigger. But no, it was a great race. You guys were right together pretty much the whole time. Flip, you had the hammer first, so you had that go mode, quote unquote, a little bit faster. But of course, it's one heck of an execution race when you're just doing fighter sword fights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is definitely an excellent race to watch. Excellent times from both of you, and of course, for me, anything below 2 hours is outstanding. But and of course, you have a little bit of a break. It looks like you're going to be racing again tomorrow at the same time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And before we close things out for the night, any final thoughts for the seed or for each other?
I thought it was a fun seed. The Master Sword Go Mode seeds are always a little bit stressful, but I enjoyed it. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Same. Looking forward to it. It's always a lot of fun. And thank you for the race stream, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for the commentary.
No problem. So, of course, for all of your speedrunning needs, there's more than enough A Link to the Past randomizer happening all the time. I think there's at least 2 or 3 other games going on right now and more to come starting tomorrow. And just wanted to shout outs to both Flip and jmeasher for putting on a great show tonight. If you like what you see, be sure to drop by their channels on Twitch and give them a follow. They'd really appreciate that. Also, you joined us today on Speed Gaming. Be sure, if you want to keep up to date on what's going on, Speed Gaming channels 1 through 6 and A Link to the Past randomizer, ALTTP randomizer 1 through 4 are worth following. And if you have watched this and haven't tried this before and think, man, that might be a little bit of fun, feel free to head on over to their website. I believe it's ALTTPR.com. And you can generate your own seeds and also play a whole bunch of different modes that the programmers have come up with to break this game up in so many different ways. I'm Sco Davis, and thank you very much to my co-commentator, Spiffers the Grand, as well as our tracker, Drosy1, for providing a great match for us tonight.
That was a fantastic race. Thank you very much, Sco Davis. As we mentioned, one more race tonight, Woolagin versus Willard J. Bradley, starting in 10 minutes on Speed Gaming, the flagship channel. That will be, I'm sure that one will be one more great race tonight, just to cap it off. Thank you everyone for watching tonight. You have a fantastic day, evening, morning, night, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Have a good one.
Take care.